Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, and today we're getting some more Great League Go Battle League battles. Alright, you want to see every grass hole's dream? It's my Double Mudboy Strat back at it again to take on the Season 4 meta. Now, if you've been with me, been with the channel for a long time, you know every new season I typically like to start it with my Double Mudboys of Skarmory, Swampert, and Whiscash, but the Galvantula hype just got to me so quickly and I didn't get the chance to. But a few of you in the comment section have been asking me to try out my Mudboys and use them again in these Season 4 Great League battles, so I couldn't pass up the opportunity. I will happily oblige, so I put together a solid set with my Mudboys up against some of the core Season 4 meta that is around these days, and potentially a grass hole team. We'll talk about that and more as we jump into these battles. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's see how my Mudboys are faring in Season 4. Now, if you don't know the Mudboy Strat is a Skarmory Lead, and what you'll notice is my Skarmory is no longer running Brave Bird. I switched it back to Flash Cannon. There are too many Bastiodons around these days in Season 4, and I'm not really seeing too many opportunities to, speaking of grass holes, but to run Brave Bird. So, in this first match, we got a Skarmory on a Shadow Grotto lead. Is this a grass hole team? Potentially. This is exactly how my Double Mudboys want to see it, because now, in the back, I have Swampert and Whiscash, and I've already taken out the Grotto. I wanted to make sure my Skarmory didn't take too much damage, because look what's coming in next. It's so funny. I ran my anti-grass hole team in the last video, and you know how many grass holes we caught? None. But I run my Double Mudboys the very first match. But again, this is how we want to see the grass holes. I have no problem running into it like this because Skarmory is just going to slaughter both of these grass types, and I got a Whiscash in the back to deal with the Bastiodon. So, as much as I have some strong negative opinions of the grass hole team, people are going to run it, and we got to be prepared. And my Double Mudboys have no problem seeing this variation of the grass hole line. So Skarmory's coming back in. We're going to make quick work of this Blossom. Completely farmed it down. And we got Flash Cannon for the Bastiodon. It's not making too much of a difference here because Whiscash is going to slaughter this Bastiodon either way. But I'm going to throw the Flash Cannon just so I can kill the switch timer, bring in my Whiscash, and see if my opponent wants to continue with this match or give up. I'm over farming a bit. They've given up. Some would say that's kind of what you get for running that team. I'll take a nice solid dub to start off this set. Now, that's a version of the grass hole line that we want to see, because if they lead Bastiodon with the two Razor Leafers in the back, it's GG for my Double Mudboys. But if they decide to lead with the grass, we can win that pretty comfortably like you saw in the last match. Getting into this first match, we have a Skarmory on Haunter Lead going on here, and they go for their charge move very quickly, which tells me right off the bat, this is definitely not a Shadow Ball, it's 100% a Shadow Punch, and I know Skarmory could tank it, so I decided not to shield. I'm going to now go for a Sky Attack. This will force their Haunters for a shield, and now the logic is going to be swap in Swampert, even though I could probably win this matchup, but I'm going to swap in Swampert because I need to potentially or lure out a potential grass type in the back, and there is their grass type in the form of Venusaur. They've already used a shield and they have something glassy like Haunter in the back, so I'm fully expecting for them not to shield the Sludge Wave that's about to come through. It lands, gets them in the yellow, and what this essentially does is it forces them to throw their charge move, because if they don't throw here, they cannot farm me down before I get to another Hydro again. So their Venusaur barely has any energy. I wait out the switch clock a little bit, but I'm going to bring in Skarmory now to comfortably farm down this Venusaur and not worry about any of the charge moves that I could potentially throw, even though they both be double resisted. Bastiodon now comes in, and this is again another opportunity where I might want Flash Cannon. But what you might also notice is their back line of Haunter and Bastiodon is extremely weak to my other Mudboy Whiscash. So even though Flash Cannon is nice to have here, Whiscash is just going to do all the heavy lifting and finish off the rest of this match without too much of an issue. They come in with their Haunter, they throw the charge move right away. I'm pretty confident at this point that it's only throwing Shadow Punches. They must have Sludge Bomb as their other charge move, which would be resisted by both my Skarmory and my Whiscash, which is why they're not even trying to bait Shadow Ball. But I also know that these Shadow Punches are going to hurt more than anything the Bastiodon's going to throw at me, which is why I shielded both of them. I now have two Mud Bombs in case they decide to shield and protect their Haunter. They decide to let it go down. It's fine. Doesn't really matter. Their Bastiodon knows that it has no chance against my Whiscash, even with shield advantage, and we take the second match of the set. In a nutshell, for those of you who are seeing me use the Mudboys for the first time on my channel, the team consists of Skarmory, Swampert, Whiscash, and the logic behind it is if Skarmory's not lined up with a grass type, to safe swap in Swampert and lure out potential grass types in the back, to then potentially lose my Swampert there, but then have Skarmory farm it up and Whiscash deal with the rest of their team. Getting into this next match though, I lost lead and I had to safe swap my Swampert. And now they brought in Azu to counter me, which I'm totally fine with, but now we have to play the bait game. So I go straight for my big move, unfortunately, gets shielded by the Azu. But my opponent, based on that, kind of tells me that they know they need to commit to keeping switch advantage so that their Galvantula can stay lined up with my Skarmory. So I decide to shield this Ice Beam coming through, and I'm going to actually now bait because they already use a shield. It's kind of telling me that they're going to commit both of their shields here. So I'm going for my Hydro Cannon here, gets their second shield, which is awesome because now I can get to my next Sludge Wave a lot quicker and put this Azu into the red. So I'm going to go for my move. We're going to wait for it to go through. I'm pretty sure we see MP tie there. They already committed both their shields. I'll make sure I commit both of my shields because now I can comfortably get to a Hydro Cannon and win switch. But now the question is that going to be enough to win me this match? When I get the Hydro Cannon off, it's going to take out the Azu, and let's see what they do to now counter the fact that they've lost switch advantage here. They come back in with their Galvantula. It has energy. They go immediately for their charge move. They might have thrown one extra Volt Switch, and they're going to get off a lunge here, which will take out my Swampert's remaining health. I have to go into Whiscash here, and the one thing about Galvantula getting a lunge and as a new charge move is that it really gives it good play against some of its main counters like the Mudboys. The Mudboys who would typically resist the electric damage or be able to outpace it because Bug Buzz would take forever to get to, now have to worry about it because lunge it's gotten to quicker, just like Discharge, it's dealing neutral damage, and then it's also debuffing the attack, so I had to throw out that Blizzard as quick as possible. I see Galarian Stunfisk coming in, and if I want any chance of winning here, I need my Whiscash's debuff to be cleared, so I swap in my Skarmory to make sure that happens. This is also another situation where I'm kind of happy I have Flash Cannon on my Skarmory, because even though Brave Bird would do a solid chunk to Galarian Stunfisk, this Flash Cannon is probably going to do the same amount, and the only difference is I'm not going to get a defense drop of like 3 stages. So I get off a Flash Cannon here. Does a little bit, it's all resisted. Skarmory gets pretty hard walled by Galarian Stunfisk, so I'll take what I can get here. And now my opponent's just going to continue spamming these rock slides, and here's where I make a mistake, and it's going to cost me this match. So here's me getting really close to a Flash Cannon. If you took note in the bottom right corner, my switch timer's almost up. They're throwing this rock slide, which means they can't be that close to an Earthquake. I should have swapped immediately. I did not. I saw my Flash Cannon in sight, and I went straight for the Flash Cannon instead of swapping to my Whiscash and trying to get to a Mud Bomb, which would have been a much more valuable move to get off. Because of that, they're able to get to another Earthquake based on all that energy I let them get after throwing the Rock Slide. The Earthquake takes out my Whiscash, and now they have so much energy, they're going to get to another Rock Slide before I can even try and quick move them down, and they're going to win the match. What I could have done to fix this match or win this match was once that Rock Slide was thrown, go into Whiscash, get to the Mud Bomb. Wouldn't have taken them out, but Skarmory also has Sky Attack, and that would have done the remaining damage to win me the match there. Currently 2-1 with the Mudboys. Can't complain. I'll take anything positive. Let's see if I can get a win in this next match and clinch a positive set. We have a Skarmory on a Galarian Stunfisk lead. So back-to-back lost leads. Let's see if I'm able to recover. Save swap into Swampert. Let's see what their counter is for my Swampert here. They leave in their Galarian Stunfisk for a little bit, so I go immediately for the Hydro Cannon to apply that shield pressure. I want it to be a mistake that they've kept their Stunfisk in as long as they have, and they still continue to keep their Stunfisk in. So what it's telling me is that they're probably going to try and throw an Earthquake and then maybe dip. So I throw out my shield, ends up being an Earthquake. I luckily didn't get baited. They now swap into a Hypno, and I'm not feeling too bad about the situation. Hypno kind of counters Swampert, like they might be able to keep switch advantage, but my Swampert's already done enough and gotten a shield and applied that pressure to the Stunfisk, and now I'm going to spam these Hydro Cannons against the Hypno, which will essentially pressure shields. So I'm okay with their Hypno potentially taking out my Swampert here. It also depends on what charge moves they're running. It's non-Shadow, so they could be running Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball, and they've been holding on to these charge moves, so I was able to get to a third Hydro Cannon, which is definitely going to force the shield. And since Swampert did all of that, at this point, I'm fine with them throwing whatever charge move they have and taking out my Swampert. I don't even want switch advantage because I got shield advantage and I could farm down their Hypno. Unfortunately, I was not taken out by that Thunder Punch because they threw a Thunder Punch. If it was an Ice Punch, it might have got me lower. So now they get to another charge move here, and I bring in Whiscash. Because if I bring in Skarmory, it's going to take super effective damage from the Thunder Punch. It does hurt a bit. That Thunder Punch does not hurt Whiscash at all. So I'm cool with that. I'm able to farm down the Hypno, and I'm ready for the Galarian Stunfisk. They bring in a Skarmory, and I'm like, you know what? This works too. I'm happy I farmed down the Hypno because I can throw 2 Blizzards. As long as they don't pull off a swap, I'll be able to take out the Skarmory and probably still feel comfortable enough to do enough damage to their Stunfisk to potentially win this match. I did try to pull a swap there to save the shield. Unfortunately, it either didn't go through or I was too slow to it. So I used the shield there, and now I'm just like, you know what? Let's just hope they don't swap out and I can land this Blizzard, and I should hopefully be okay to potentially win this match. That's my logic. I'm going for another Blizzard. This will definitely take out the Skarmory. The Stunfisk shouldn't have too much energy, but what do I decide to do here? I don't remember if I do throw the Mud Bomb. Okay, I'm worried they're getting closer and closer, so I know I build up for one of these Mud Bombs and then swap out. So I get off one of them, and now I'm going to build up a little bit here, and I'm going to swap trying to catch an Earthquake because a Rock Slide was not taking out Whiscash. Unfortunately, didn't catch it, but Whiscash is sitting in the back with a little bit of energy, and their Stunfisk is going to have to chuck Rock Slides at my Skarmory. Plus, their Stunfisk is really low, so it might honestly just be at the point where my Skarmory can take out their Stunfisk with a Flash Cannon and win me this match anyway. So they decide to just quit, and I will take that happily and clinch a positive set there. Getting into the 5th and final match of the set, I'm satisfied with this 3-1. If I lose this match, I'll take a 3-2, but can I get the 4-1? We have a positive lead here. We have Skarmory on Venusaur, which is great to see, but whenever I see a grass lead, I do get a little worried because keeping switch advantage is vital here. And my opponent plays this really well where I make a mistake. I'm worried that if I let a lunge through and they commit to the 2 shields, I will lose switch advantage because if Venusaur ends up on my Whiscash, it's GG no matter what their 3rd Pokemon is. So I am going for a Hydro Cannon here after I already committed a shield. They decided not to commit a shield here, and I think this is where I make my mistake. We CMP tie. And me being so concerned with switch advantage, I decide to commit a 2nd shield in case they decide that they want to commit some shields now. And since that happened, I'm going to get off this Hydro Cannon, and they're actually not going to shield. And even though I kept switch, which looks great and all, they have a 2 shield to no shield advantage here, and that does set me back. So I'm going to get off another Hydro Cannon. It's double debuffed at this point. It's not going to threaten this Venusaur at all. They're going to farm me down, which is fine. My Skarmory will come back in, and it will force them to swap to their Galarian Stunfisk. So I was right about switch advantage being key to winning this match. The issue was that I committed an extra shield that I didn't need to commit. So now they're going to get off this Earthquake here, and the only way I have any chance of winning this match is if I get off 3 Mud Bombs. 2 to get both of the shields, and 1 to do enough damage to put the Stunfisk in range for my Skarmory to hopefully beat. So I'm getting off this first Mud Bomb, it gets their first shield, and then you notice how I'm not throwing the next one, because honestly, if I'm going to get off both these Mud Bombs, then I need to have 2 Mud Bombs worth of energy, so I'm trying to throw them back to back. Also trying to maybe let my opponent think they're more comfortable than they are, but my opponent knew better. They go for their charge move right away. We had CMP tied. I was not able to get off the 3rd Mud Bomb, and this is going to be an Earthquake that takes out my Whiscash, and essentially is just going to cost me the match. Or lose me the match. Not cost me, but essentially you know what I mean. Me not saving a shield is what cost me the match here. So now the Galarian Sunfish is just going to spam Rock Slides. If I was even able to just get off 1 more Mud Bomb, the combination of this Flash Cannon and a Mud Bomb would have taken out the Stunfisk, and then my Skarmory would just completely walled the Venusaur, and I could have won this match. So GG to my opponent for recognizing the situation they were in and playing this out really well. So we're just going to watch this through. At this point, I should have just quit, but I knew I was going to use this for YouTube, and I try not to quit out the matches I'm going to put on YouTube just to show the content, just to show the play-by-play, but this is pretty self-explanatory. So my opponent throws their Rock Slide here, and just to really put the icing on the cake to win their match, on the cake to win the match, they bring in their Venusaur with energy to chuck a Frenzy Plant and finish off my Skarmory. So again, GG's to that opponent. It was played real well. We'll take that positive 3-2 set, Season 4 Mudboys. So that is how my Mudboys are faring against the Season 4 meta. As long as we can avoid the specific variation of the Grass Hole line where Bastiodon's in the lead, I actually believe my Mudboys have more play this season than they did in Season 3. Not exactly sure what caused the meta to change. Maybe it was Galvantula. It's a welcome change because even in the sets I've done outside of this video, my Mudboys have been doing nothing but positive. So let me know what changes you think caused this to happen. But other than that, if you want to keep on seeing the Mudboy content, please tell me because I love putting it out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.